Aaron Rodgers will not need surgery to repair his fractured left wrist. That break occurred in his non-throwing hand during last week's win against the Bengals. Rodgers, though, is reportedly trying and pushing to play on Sunday in Chicago against the Bears, but he'll need to be cleared by team doctors. The Steelers currently sit at 6-4 and atop those AFC North standings heading into the weekend. But you look at the Ravens, and they are on the rise. Baltimore winners of 4 straight, sitting at 5-5, favored by Vegas like they have been for quite some time to win the division. They sit at -270, while Pittsburgh is at +240. Our NFL insider Jonathan Jones tapped in with us now. When JJ, let's get back to Rodgers. The good news is that he won't need that surgery, but how do you think the Steelers truly should manage him and decide, hey, should he play on Sunday, or do they let him heal up a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a big decision, and it's one that the Pittsburgh Steelers are thankful that today is Wednesday and it is not Saturday evening or Sunday. And so because of how important Aaron Rodgers is to this team, because of where they are in the schedule and in the standings, I very much believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take this as far out as they possibly can, either because, and it could be for 2 reasons. One, it could be to just double, triple, quadruple check that if he is able to go or is not able to go, that they have exhausted every option. The other is maybe even to satisfy or appease Rodgers that, oh man, we really tried, even though maybe they know in the back of their minds and have known for some time that he would not be able to go this week. So there will not be clarity for the next couple of days about whether Aaron Rodgers can play or not. The issue here is, while it is the left wrist, the non-throwing hand, it's really hard to take snaps with a fractured left wrist. They do a lot of stuff under center, and so that's going to make the Pittsburgh Steelers offense a little bit more predictable. And you don't want to be a little bit more predictable against the Chicago Bears or against any of these teams that are coming up, Bills or Ravens. You also don't want to risk further injury. We talk about the Bears, but there's also the Bills. Then there is the Ravens. We all know that this is a 2-horse race in the AFC North. And so you don't want Aaron Rodgers to suffer further injury that would really knock him out of a more meaningful game in Week 14, perhaps, against the Baltimore Ravens. So for all of those reasons, we will not see him at practice today. I'm not sure we're going to see him at practice in any real capacity on Thursday. If he is, it's limited, taking some shotgun snaps, whatever. Not going to be reading into that. We'll know more as we get closer to the weekend.
So maybe you look towards Week 14, but this weekend, with it being the Bears, being in Chicago, we know Aaron Rodgers and that Chicago lore that goes back over time and how that rivalry is. How does the fact that it is the Bears factor into the decision of whether or not Rodgers plays? Because you have to figure he would love to be there.
Yeah, he would. And that's why you hire medical professionals, right? And that's why people with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, a very proud and storied franchise, see beyond the small picture of a quick Aaron Rodgers soundbite saying that he owns the team and owns the city, right? While Aaron Rodgers may want to play a little bit more because it's Chicago. Fully understand that, appreciate that, and absolutely love that. We see his record right there and the damage that he's done in Chicago. Worst damage done in Chicago since that great fire. Don't know if you've heard about that one, Zach.
I know history.
Okay, there you go. You don't know movies. Aaron Rodgers wants badly to play in this game, but there are greater aspirations involved here. Again, you don't want to risk further injury. You want to be good for that Bills game. Let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, where every game matters, this Chicago Bears game actually matters less than just about any other game they're going to play the rest of the way out. It's an NFC opponent, right? So they're out of division, out of conference, not going to really count toward any legitimate tiebreaker until you get way down the line. But that Bills game's important. AFC, Ravens, obviously AFC North, right? So I think while we are so focused on Aaron Rodgers and Chicago, there is a greater perspective here that if it's gonna be close, maybe you hold Aaron Rodgers back from himself.
So from Chicago to a former Chicago Bears QB, we look at Justin Fields now headed to the bench in New York. What does his future with the Jets look like now? They gave him that 2-year, $40 million contract, hoped that it would work out. Obviously, it has not. Now, what do we look for?
So a lot of talk about that 2-year contract. I want to be clear because, $10 million is guaranteed next year. that 2-year contract was really something to guarantee that they could get Justin Fields in 2025, because the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to keep him. There were going to be other teams that were interested in his services. So the Jets had to sort of outbid everyone else to secure Justin Fields. You ask a good question. What is Justin Fields' future in New York? Not entirely sure there's going to be a future in New York. We may be kind of turning the page for Justin Fields as that career backup at this point, right? It didn't work, given a lot of opportunities and different coaching staffs in Chicago. Obviously, didn't work with the Pittsburgh Steelers, though maybe he should have kept things going with that winning record. It has not worked in New York for, again, any number of reasons. So is it possible the Jets ultimately cut bait with him? I could certainly see that taking place. We'll see how the season ends, where feelings and emotions may be on both sides by the time we get to the new league year in March, when a decision would be made. Would not at all be surprised to see Justin Fields become a free agent at when we get to March, and then probably signing somewhere where he feels that he can sit back, that he can be the backup unquestionably, and come in when needed.
Yeah, the saga of Justin Fields certainly has had its ups and downs, to say the least. You could look at ups and downs for Michael Penix over in Atlanta, the ups with playing well, the downs of all those injuries, now likely out for the year with another knee injury. And given the huge history he has of them, how worried should the Falcons be about his future, not just this year, but really going forward, because this is supposed to be their guy?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And this is the risk that you take, right? This was the risk that they took with a guy who had bad knees. Now, you know, he took a shot, and I am no medical professional, so I'm not going to tell you that the hit that he took because of his knee injury history, that's why he got this injury, right? Could this have happened to an otherwise healthy knee? I don't know the answer to that. But it's difficult for the Falcons because 18 months ago, they didn't have the answer at quarterback. And so they spend $40 million per year on Kirk Cousins. And then 6 weeks later, they spend a top 10 pick on Michael Penix Jr. so that no matter what, they would be covered at quarterback. They would not wander the quarterback wilderness like they had the last several years since Matt Ryan's departure. And now, what do they have? They have Kirk Cousins, who's probably not going. He's going to finish out the season in very difficult circumstances. We got to be honest about that, right? They're not going to have Drake London for this week, maybe a couple more weeks beyond that. You're not getting a whole lot more out of your playmakers beyond Bijan Robinson, a shaky offensive line that has been injured. You're probably not going to have Kirk Cousins in 2026, right? And then, who knows when Michael Penix Jr. will be back? I assume, and they're getting some second opinions, I assume this is going to lead to some type of knee surgery that will knock him out this season and have him ready for the start of the 2026 season. But even when you get to that point, you're going to have in the back of your mind, here's a guy who's had a knee operated on one or the other side 3 times at this point on a rookie deal. So they're going to have to be in the hunt for a backup quarterback as well. It's difficult times right now for an Atlanta Falcons team at the most important position in sports that they thought just less than 2 years ago, they thought they had covered really well.
Yeah, things change so fast, and that might mean changes down the line for Atlanta and that front office and head coaching staff. That's a conversation for another day. JJ, despite the zinger, I'm going to say it was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a great rest of the morning as we tap in with you here and know how to find you on Sundays as well with that game day reset, Sundays 4 Eastern. There is the man, JJ, front and center, hanging out with B-Mac and Joe Musso.